Hi, sir. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, sir.
The bulb is behind something.
We are live now, doctor.
A very good evening to one and all. So I welcome everyone to our third episode of our innovation webinar series under the initiative of Young Ophthalmologist Society of India, which is EUREYEKA, Innovations in Ophthalmology. So today we'll have the theme of our episode is hackathons and culture of innovations. So today we have a list of lineup of speakers who have been conducting hackathons for several years, have been involved very extensively in innovations, and have fostered the innovation of culture in ophthalmology. And hackathons, as we all know, they are collaborative events where many participants come together and work in a very short period intensively to come up with innovative solutions to a particular problem. So without much delay, I would like to introduce our speakers and panelists for the day. So our first speaker, Dr. R. Venkatesh, sir. He is the Chief Medical Officer of Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry. He graduated in medicine with a gold medal in ophthalmology from Annamalai University, DODNB from Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai. He is a specialist in the field of cataract and glaucoma. He has over 25 years of experience in cataract and has conducted over 30,000 SICS surgeries and over 40,000 phacoemulsification procedures. In glaucoma, he has over 20 years of experience and has done over 2,000 trabeculectomies and 6,000 combined surgeries. He has presented at around 30 international and 60 national conferences, consults for over 18 eye hospitals across India, focusing on quality, sustainability, and operational efficiency. He has contributed to global eye care by training ophthalmologists in various countries and has over 150 publications in national and international peer-reviewed journals. He is an editorial board member of several ophthalmology journals and has authored over 12 chapters in renowned ophthalmology books. He has been awarded for best paper, poster, and video presentations at several national and international conferences. He is also passionate advocate for improving access to eye care in India. He has implemented several sustainability practices at Arvind and has published his work on cataract waste in environmental journals. He is a member of the climate change group at the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness and is also an advisory board member of iSustain. He's a sought after speaker on sustainability eye care practices, and in Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry, he has conducted more than 7 hackathons, fostered the culture of innovations and clinical research through hackathons and write-a-thons. It is an immense honor, sir, for us to have you on board, and we thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule. Our next speaker is Dr. Prithvi Chandrakant. He currently serves as a veterinary retinal surgeon in Dr. Chandrakant Netralaya in Kerala. He has worked formerly as a VR surgeon and medical officer in the Department of Veterinary Retinal Service in Arvind Eye Hospital, Coimbatore. Has published over 25 articles in prestigious PubMed Index journals, delivered more than 150 scientific presentations, has led instruction courses as chief instructor in international, national, and state conferences, and recipient of more than 35 awards from esteemed ophthalmic society. He has pioneered over 12 innovations in ophthalmology and has the maximum number of innovations published in the innovation section in the Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. He is also the editorial board member of the Tamil Nadu Journal of Ophthalmology, executive member of Young Ophthalmologist Society of Kerala, and also an editorial board of the innovation section in the AIOS Times magazine. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Your innovations have always been an inspiration for all of us young ophthalmologists. Our next speaker would be Dr. Atul. He is currently working as a medical consultant in the Department of Vitreoretinal Services at Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai. He has numerous publications in various indexed international journals, has authored 2 chapters, and has been a recipient of more than 20 awards for his work in ophthalmology and innovations. He is the innovator of more than 10 clinical solutions in healthcare and a peer reviewer for various national international journals. His special interests include retinal imaging, teleophthalmology, macular diseases, and surgical retina. So he, for the various hackathons that have been conducted over the past few years, he has been part of the team who has been most of the times has been a winner on the podium, and moreover, he has also formed an innovation and research club at Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai, and has encouraged and promoted several fresh graduates to be a part of innovations. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Our next speaker would be Dr. Satya Ravela. She completed her MBBS from Sri Ramachandra Medical College and her MS Ophthalmology from Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai, where she was awarded with the prestigious Dr. G. Venkateswamy Gold Medal for her first rank. She currently heads the Department of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus at SVI Arvind Eye Hospital, Tirupati, and is also the in charge of all the MLOPs at the institute. She has won awards on innovation at national and international platforms. A few of her innovations include the Xbox, Squintometer, Squintal, and Focus Bro. She has numerous publications and book chapters and has presented at several national and international conferences, and has conducted Eye Innovation Hackathon at Arvind Eye Hospital, Tirupati, in association with IIT Tirupati in the last year. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us and taking time out for this talk. Our next speaker would be Mr. Sandil. He's the founder and CEO of Alpha. He completed his bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from VIT Vellore, completed his master's in ophthalmic engineering from IIT Hyderabad, and is known for his virtual reality-based visual field testing device for glaucoma known as the Intelligent Vision Analyzer, which is a patented solution and it has been now adopted by over 200 ophthalmologists across 4 countries. He has secured multiple prestigious grants and has collaborations with leading institutions like Arvind Eye Hospital, AIIMS New Delhi, John Hopkins, and VIT. He has several designs registered, which includes the VR lens adapter, ergonomic reading aid, periscope lensometer, portable and foldable lensometer, and advanced lens cassette system. He has won several awards, which includes the IKP Rise Award, NASCOM Emerge 50 Awards, Slush 2023, and has been a part of HEAL cohort by Indian School of Business. He also won the Chini Krishnan Innovation Award 2023, Wharton India Startup Challenge, and various national startup awards. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I got a chance to interact with you when I was a part of when I had come for the hackathon, and we got to listen to your story from how you came, how you developed with your company. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, coming to our panelists, our ever dynamic Joint Secretary of YOSI, Dr. Prasanna Venkatesh Ramesh. He is currently the Research Director and Glaucoma Head at Mahatma Eye Hospital, Trichy. He's a DNB FAT examiner, DNB coordinator, has published over 14 chapters and 52 PubMed index journals with 412 citations. He's also the editorial board member in IGO and also the associate editor of TNOA Journal of Ophthalmic Sciences and Research. He's currently the joint secretary of YOSI and also the management committee member for TNOA. Has conducted several instruction courses in national and international conferences and has been a recipient of several awards from prestigious ophthalmic societies. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us. Our next panelist is Dr. John Davis Sakara. He is currently a glaucoma, cataract, and refractive surgeon in West End Eye Hospital and Chaitanya Eye Hospital, Kochi. He completed his MBBS and MS from JIPMER, glaucoma fellowship from Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry, and cataract fellowship from Shankar Nethralaya, Chennai. He has won several paper, poster, video, and innovation awards in several conferences and other platforms. He has several journal publications on innovations in ophthalmology, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and smartphone slit lamp photography. He also won the Startup Incubation Challenge in LVPI in the year 2024 for his patented innovation foldable fundoscope. He does programming and developed several smartphone apps such as the iGrader, iKnow Tamil, and 3D Atlas of Ophthalmology. A few of his innovations include foldable fundoscope, virtual reality perimetry, smartphone ophthalmic imaging, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, Raspberry Pi-based surgical recorder, and 3D printed glaucoma valve, and several others. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And our last panelist is Dr. YOREYEKA Gosalia, who was an ex-executive member of YOSI. She is currently doing her cornea and anterior segment fellowship at LVPI. She completed her residency from Arvind Eye Hospital, Coimbatore, and is also an editorial board member of TNOA. She has published over 20 articles in various PubMed index journals, was awarded the Best IJ Publication of Year 2023, Best Paper in Community Ophthalmology, International Hero Award at AIOC 2023, Best Video and Resident in Training section at ESCRS Milan 2022, Captain Subramanian Award for Best Video at TNOA 2022, and various several awards. Thank you, Hirika, for joining us for this talk. So with this, I would like to invite our first speaker of the day, Dr. Venkatesh sir, to speak on hackathons. And it's over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Samir, for organizing this very important symposium for the young ophthalmologist. I think it's time, we have to look in because of the changing world, the changing expectations, the changing nature of everything. We'll have to be constantly innovating. And it's so nice to see a lot of young innovators today joining as speakers and panel for this excellent session. So what I see and know is this has been our building blocks of our organization, a very strong value system. And by having this, we are able to kind of deliver a high volume, high quality service. And what was more important for us is constantly innovating and improvising the work which we are doing on a day-to-day basis. So that has been a very key important things. So whenever it comes to healthcare innovation, like you're on one side, you have healthcare practitioners and providers. On the other side, you have the patient. How you see the patient, how the patient is heard, how the patient needs are met. This is what we are constantly looking as healthcare providers and practitioners, wherein these innovations are so important to improve the quality, to lower the cost, to bring in a lot of safety, efficiency, and which finally gives the best outcomes, either for doing the care, diagnosis, or even preventing a disease or educating somebody in these kind of conditions, doing further research to improvise the medical education, and also to do outreach. So healthcare innovation, if you see, lies in all these areas, and it is so interconnected. So whenever we talk about innovations, right, it can be radical innovations, which explores new technology, like it may be a phaco machine or like a laser for cataract surgery. It focuses on challenging the existing products. It can kind of change the whole practice. For example, my good friend Sean came up with a brilliant idea of having a phaco in a handpiece. Can we get rid of the whole machine and can we bring the phaco into a small handpiece? And now it is available. So somebody who is challenging the existing products. And many of the time it brings a dramatic change. But the most important thing, it's highly uncertain. You don't know whether it will be successful or not. And this happens very, very rarely. It doesn't happen every day. It happens once in a year or once in 5 years. These radical changes happen. Whereas if you see incremental, something which exploits the existing technology, which every one of us can do, and it focuses on improvements, a small improvement to the existing product. It may be making an active fluidics in a phaco, or changing the tip, or changing the dynamics, which can be done incrementally over the existing product. And what happens is it improves the competitiveness. It makes you more competitive or better than the other provider. And many of the times this is kind of the uncertainty is very low. So you may not really lose a lot of things on the way. And this is quite common. It has to keep happening for any good organization. So what I would like to say, if you can combine these two, a radical once in a while and incremental happening regularly in an organization, definitely that particular organization will have a market leadership. So if you take the story of Aravind for the last, now we are 49 years, we are going to celebrate the 50th year from this April. early days, when we had to think of reaching more and more people, we were thinking of the non-customers. So how do we bring them? Through outreach. No, even people were not coming through outreach. So we provided free food and transport. So you don't have to bring a caregiver. You can come through iCamp and have your surgeries done. These are subtle innovations which help us to really take the care to the masses. And then when you talk about efficiency, now we introduce something called the two-table system, which is so popular now across the globe to bring in efficiency. Bringing in counselors for patients, to understand the problem, to discuss about the price and the different technology and lenses. It really helps in improving the efficiency. And of course, in outreach and other, we started using the geographical information system way back 20, 30 years back. And whenever we wanted to close the loop. No, this also is sustainable. You finish the investigation or treatment on the same day. You don't make them come back again and again. And then we were trying to bring down the cost by setting up Aurolab, doing a lot of reverse engineering. It was a radical change which happened in Arvind, but it helped us to do a lot of good practices over a period of time and bring in a lot of products which can reduce the cost. Harnessing technology. Now, we were trying to get the best technology to reach the unreached. We had satellite mobile vans. We had teleconnectivity through vision centers. And then now we are even deploying an artificial intelligence in these vision centers and outreach and in diabetic clinics to screen more people. So like this, the story of innovation is always more system-oriented in Arvind over a period of time. And what people think is, you have to nurture an unorthodox thinking and its application. And we believe that innovation is not only for the top leadership, but it has to come from everyone or anyone in the organization. No, it has to be like a bottoms-up approach. So people have to think of problems and then think of solutions. So this is a beautiful blog written by one of my good friends, Kamalini Ramdas of London Business School. She says, build a company where everyone is looking for new ideas. Like everyone is focusing or scanning like a huge sea anemone with thousands of tentacles. They are sensing the environment and working together to channel better prospects through idea development processes. And she was quoting Arvind as an example where people are constantly looking at problems and finding solutions incrementally and making the delivery or the quality of care better. And she also said that each tentacle knows exactly what to look at in all that flora and fauna. No, you're not wasting your resources and you're carefully experimenting a lot of things. It's more important that some of these experiments have to be done very carefully. No, if it fails, you fail immediately and you stop doing it. If it is successful, then you take it forward. So with that, we had a vision for the Arvind Eye Care Systems innovation. So we want to continually innovate to enhance its work and in eye care in general to eliminate needless blindness. So here I would like to introduce one of our speaker and panelist, Dr. Mr. Sandel, whom I met in 2017 when he was a young engineering graduate, when he came to me as a patient, as a glaucoma suspect. He did visual fields and he said, I want to shrink the machine. I said, what do you mean by shrinking a Humphrey machine? He said, I want to shrink it into a virtual reality. And then in the next 3 years, it is a commercially available product. It became a startup and a company. And now there are more than 350 plus devices installed in several countries. And he has raised several grants and awards, the story of which you will be hearing shortly. So what I at least understood when talking to him is that, we have to sit together. Engineers and doctors have to sit together. This is a picture which I took at roughly around 2 a.m. in the morning in one of the VIT hackathons where I was advised to be one of the judge for a healthcare-based hackathon. And you can see that energy at 2 a.m., where there are several engineers, electrical, mechanical, artificial intelligence, all these engineers sitting together and cracking some of the problems. And when I asked them, each one said they went to find the problems. Nobody came and approached them with the problem. Then we realized that there is a power here. If I can tell the problem to the engineers, they can help us to even solve it better. And that is how we started these hackathons during the COVID time. We all had a lot of time during COVID because patient care was less, number of people coming in were less. So what we did was we said, we will not let this good crisis go waste. And we had a few engineers visit us, and then our doctors came up with some brilliant solutions like eye openers, like lid averters, which helped during the COVID time, even sterilizing an N95 mask. Some of these are brilliant ideas which came during COVID hackathon. And then we wanted to make this as a part and parcel of our activity. And we had some terrific support and collaborations from our own manufacturing facility, Orolab, from Alphalius, where Sandal, who started Alphalius, from, you all know this company, Remedio, the innovative solutions based in Bangalore, and the local manufacturing facility, Appasamy Associates. And of course, we also partnered with two big institutions. One was VIT and the other was IIT Tirupati. And this collaboration resulted in series of hackathons since 2022. No, initially we had very few problem statements. No, like we had some 50, 60, and then it went to 100 problem statements. We were about to shortlist some 12, and 15 students attended to begin with. And later, if you see, the number of students who started attending gradually increased over the next couple of years. In 23, there were 18 students for 25 problem statements. But in the year 2024, we had close to 130 students. That means the interest between the students started growing after seeing the results of the previous hackathons and the feedback from the engineers. So we had a humpty number of applications to choose those students. And now in this year also, we had a terrific representation of several engineering students who worked with some of our doctors to come up with brilliant solutions, which you will be hearing from some of the speakers today. And these solutions are so
From where do you get all these ideas?
Hackathon.
Aravind Hackathon is where innovation meets purpose. At the heart of the Aravind Eye Care system, we believe in the transformative power of collaboration and creativity. This event brings together minds from various fields and skilled eye doctors to synergize ideas and tackle challenges in advancing patient care. Our culture of innovation has been a driving force throughout our history, propelling us to the forefront of eye care excellence. This hackathon is a testament to our commitment to pushing boundaries and finding innovative solutions. Together, we build a future where innovation is not just a concept, but a way of life for us. So you just heard about how these hackathons, it's a 2.5-day activity wherein all these people sit together and they solve some of these problems and they come up with brilliant prototypes for the presentation in front of the judges in just 48 hours period. And by doing this, we were able to get into a lot of competitions and forums, from ACRS to IAPB to several state conferences. Our doctors were able to participate and win several awards and also take these ideas to the next level of startups, including the Puducherry Innovation Contest, the AOS Startup Challenge. All these were avenues for them to now explore and take their ideas to the next level. And we are also exploring wherever there is opportunity like this. Seva calls for new tech ideas. Now we have already these prototypes so that they are ready to support it, to take it to the next level. And we also have introduced something called the Aravind Inspiring Innovator Award. Every year now for the last 4 years, we have been giving these awards to the top 3 great innovations of that particular year. And some of these which may not be really can be patented or taken to another level is also published so that people would benefit from it. For example, the one which you see, the innovative intraoperative fundus assessment technique. It's an amazing idea from one of my colleagues, Dr. Fatima, to see the fundus when you're doing a cataract surgery. Let's say that you have dropped a cortex, or you want to see the optic nerve or macula during the cataract surgery in an aphakic eye. you can brilliantly do this technique and see with your regular microscope in the anterior segment surgery. So some of the ideas like this we have been constantly sharing through social media and publications. And beyond hackathons, some of them will be sharing what they actually do, by participating in conferences, applying for grants, helping in product development through Oral Lab, Remedio, Appasamy, and few other manufacturing facilities have been now encouraging and constantly supporting them in patenting and taking it to the next stages. So these are some of the grants which our team has received in the last few years to take some of their ideas to the next level. So in addition to that, now we have created a small lab in Madurai and Pondicherry where we have dedicated staff and 3D printers and other instruments and electronics to make sure that some prototypes also go to another stages quickly through the support which our team is giving. And also we try to help them in funding support for prototyping, product development, and patenting. So going forward, now we want to take some of these hackathons to institutions who are interested to do that other than Aravind, and also helping others to develop some of these innovations into products and taking it to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It is truly very inspiring. It's not an easy job to conduct an hackathon of such a big level and year after year and see it grow exponentially. It's truly inspiring. Thank you for fostering this culture of innovations in ophthalmology. And we see a lot of young ophthalmologists interested and doing really well in innovations. Dr. John, Dr. Prithvi, Dr. Hireka, would you like to share your experience in whatever you have been a part of hackathons consistently? So, Prithvi, sir.
Yeah, my experience has been really good. I've almost been there 2-3 times, and so many of our ideas gets converted into actual products, and it helps us in our daily clinical, activities. And if it was not for Venkatesh sir, it would have been really difficult for us to actually convert it to all these products. And and the fact that we get to grow with the engineers, so basically, we get to understand a lot of other things. We get to know what they think, how things work, gives us more idea and more questions of how we can implement these things. And that's exactly why we are getting more problem statements and more products each year. The year we go ahead, and I'll be sharing the experience in the next talk anyway. Dr. John and Dr. Hirika would want to say.
I have personally been part of hackathon virtually once and physically twice. And I was a young resident that time, new to ophthalmology, new to innovation. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Venkatesh and to have introduced all of us to the world of innovation. I mean, it wouldn't have been possible to. We think of problems, but we don't think that there could be a solution to it. And working with engineers along with them, it was way easier to really find problems in a day or two. And we used to really crack our head the entire 2 days and nights work together. It was an amazing experience. And all of this is not possible in like doing it at a individual level. You need a team, you need a support, you need the institute, so all of that was possible through hackathon. And whatever products that have come out through innovation wherein I have been a part wouldn't have been possible to do it alone. So I'm really thankful I'm thankful that we had a platform to do this.
Yeah, I would like to add that there are so many problem statements if we know where to look. So to the engineers and other tinkerers looking, there are lots of problem statements. For example, something as simple as turning the eyelid up during COVID. That was something which people were not even thinking of an extra innovation required in that area. But we had COVID, which forced us to look for a solution. And every ophthalmologist or every medical specialty, every doctor, they would have some ideas in mind on what could be the the solution, but that may not be the correct solution or the most efficient solution always. So you have to discuss with a few others, discuss with engineers, and they might come out with some better ideas or maybe something else which we did not know about. So be aware of the various solutions available about 3D printing, about Raspberry Pi and mini computers, about various other technologies. Think of some ideas, try out some solutions, discuss with somebody who has access to prototyping tools, and then you can come out with many ideas. I was part of, I was in Arvind Pondicherry when Sandal came over and we had done the virtual reality experiment too. At that time, we didn't even think about shrinking it. We just thought, okay, this is a big machine which is always going to be like this. But when somebody from an engineering background came and told us this can be shrunk down with virtual reality, we didn't even think out of the box in that direction initially. And that has revolutionized perimetry now. And even the surgical recording microscope, the camera, and many other things. You have to think outside the box to get to this. And be aware of all the technologies which are available. For example, 3D printing, 3D designing, all these Raspberry Pi and these things are very easily available. And programming, apps, all these things, you can learn the basics and entrust the final thing to an engineer. That's what I would like to add. And one more point, many innovations go into something I call orphaned innovation, because the innovators no longer have the time or energy to spend on it. So those innovations, we should not let it go off into the into the dark. We should entrust it to somebody who is willing to spend some time to work on it. So that also has to be taken.
Thank you. Prasanna sir, you have.
Yeah, if I may add. So I had the opportunity to be part of Arvind when I was doing my PG. We had a MOU between our center and Arvind. And for all the young ophthalmologists out there, I've seen how Dr. John, Dr. Pavan, they all evolved under Venkatesh sir. Even simple frugal innovations. I remember sir in OT one day when he showed me, are you able to see any wires on the floor? And then all the wires were actually looping through a simple hook on the top, and the OT was completely free of any wires. So all those simple things, and when GoPro was actually going on, the GoPro which sir innovated along with his team, were live surgical recording on Facebook, where at that time live surgery involved a lot of cost. So people were very skeptical about live surgery. So these were all pre-COVID era. And sir and his team were thinking out of the box, even in the pre-COVID era, and Facebook Live and getting all the surgical archives into it. As sir was mentioning in his talk, any innovation, it can be one that you are bottling up in a very new way, where that was one of the innovations that I was actually seeing. And even I don't know whether if Dr. John remembers when a Shark Tank was done in 2019. Cutting Edge was one of the conferences just before the lockdown. I think Dr. John also innovated one application which he launched for that particular conference. So even in conferences at that time, making an app was a very big thing. So those were an era of apps where apps and snacks was one of the most well attended CMEs and wet labs in all the events at that point in time before the pre-COVID era. And after COVID, I had the opportunity to be in one of the hackathons last year in the month of around August. And at the end of the day, we were able to see people 3D printing some prototype. So once 3D printing, which was thought, you need to have a lot of toolboxes and you need to get the print out. Maybe it will take months. But I was able to see people printing their 3D model at the end of the day. So that was very fascinating. And I had a great memory at Pondi. If not for my Pondi alumni days in MGM and spending time in Arvind, I would have not gotten inspired as I was from Sir and his team. So again, kudos to the whole team. But Sir has been a pioneer in innovations, and it was again a pleasure listening to sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, I would like to thank Venkatesh sir for all his efforts and interest in fostering promoting the culture of innovations in ophthalmology. And with this, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Prithvi Chandrakant. He'll be talking about his experience in hackathons.
Hope my slides are visible. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I'll be talking about my experience in hackathon. So as I just told, all of us working in the clinical, I mean, in the hospital, ophthalmologists, the optometrists, the sisters, MLOP staff, we were all so keen in, the clinical practice that we don't really know how to take the engineer aspect of it and bring out a solution to the problem. So we had so many problems in our OPD and in our OTs, but the only thing is we are lacking the engineering backup and the knowledge, and that is exactly what our engineer friends need. So that particular problem statement is what exactly they need, and that is where we can get the solution. And the only place that we can get both the people can actually work on is in a platform like Hackathon. So that is what Hackathon means for us. That is bridging the research and the design and coming up with a solution for the problem and for the greater good of the whole community. And this would actually help the doctors, the patients also to increase their efficiency also. So that is the platform that we needed, and that is what Arvind Eye Hospital and the Arvind Center for Eye Care Innovation has given us. So we as PGs and fellows in Arvind Eye Hospital, we got a platform where we could actually give the engineers a problem statement for which a solution would actually come up, and that would be helpful for us in our daily practice. And it goes without saying that Venkatesh sir was the backbone for this, and it is very difficult to actually bring out this kind of a platform, and he has done it every year tirelessly, and it is just growing. Each year it is growing bigger than the last. So I'll be just taking you to all few of the innovations that we came up with in hackathons. So these are 4 innovations that I have been teamed up and we worked on: the gimbal scope, the scrub book, the pupil mate, and slit scope. The first innovation, that's the gimbal scope. So these were all the people who actually partnered with us and teamed up, and we did the innovation. So the problem statement here was there was nothing at all to actually give us a live demonstration of the retinoscopic reflex. So it was very difficult for us to actually understand what the optometrist is saying, or our seniors are saying when they try to teach us the retinoscopy reflex with against, and it becomes very difficult. So what we thought is, why not? So this was a problem statement that we put up in hackathon, and then we thought of a very simple solution which involves smartphone adapters, smartphone, and just a small tweak of how to attach it to the retinoscope. So this is exactly what we did. We took the smartphone adapters, and the adapters were put in such a manner that the smartphone and the retinoscopy pinhole would be aligned. So in that manner, we could actually start taking videos of retinoscopic reflex so easily, and this made the whole job easier for the seniors to make the juniors understand what they mean by against, what they mean by with, what is neutralization. And for those who have never seen scissor reflex, this is how it looks, and we have it documented right now, so it becomes so much easier. And so Mrs. Kasturi, who is a biomedical engineer in Madurai, she thought, why is it so bulky? Why should we keep it so bulky? So she thought about a small tweak, and she came up with a small idea where a small adapter with a spy cam can be used, and this can be attached to the phone. It can be attached to your to the laptop. You can record it, and it becomes so much easier. Look at the design itself. She made the design, 3D printed it, and it is so simple now. It is so lightweight that we don't actually have to put the smartphone anymore. So this was also some the upgradation which happened from the gimbal scope. The next innovation was the slit scope. In the slit scope, we were planning why we need a device that can provide slit illumination and capture slit anterior segment images without a slit lamp. So this was a problem statement, and what we did during the hackathon was we opened up the whole slit lamp. We saw the optics, which was involved, and we made a small replica of it. So this is just a small cardboard where we made a slit, and we attached it to the pen torch that we have. So once we did that, we put another marker. So we made a small cut on the marker. We put it on top of it, and we applied a intraocular lens. So over here you can see the intraocular lens along with the slit light would actually give us a slit light over here. So this is what we made, and this is what the slit light would look like. And then what we did, so this is the first time we did it, and we used it with the smartphone ASPI device, and we could take actual slit images without a slit lamp. We thought, why not 3D print it? And so we started 3D printing adapters which would connect itself to the torch. And with connection of these adapters, one could easily get the slit illumination. So when it was attached with ASPI, we could actually, without a slit lamp, take slit images very easily. And these are all the images that we have taken. These are all the videos that we have taken without a slit lamp. And one cannot actually, make out if it was taken in a slit lamp or not. So this is the another innovation that we did. The next innovation was the scrub book. So the scrub book's main problem statement was we cannot take our logbook everywhere where we go. So the only thing that we have is a smartphone. And what if we could have an electronic logbook? So we started doing it with a small prototype that was making an Excel sheet. So Excel sheet was something which we could do. So this was a prototype. Then we thought, why not we put this kind of a problem statement in hackathon and make an app out of it. So we had engineers to help us, and we made a app through which we can actually add all the patient details, everything. So the patient name, the complications, the surgery name. So anything at all. So we had we even the visual acuity. So we could actually put all of these things. We had all the complications, post op day 130, everything in place in the app, and it was easy for a resident or a fellow to actually put it and save the details. So once that is done, we can actually get all the patient details at one glance, and we can also view all surgeries also. So there is a link where we can put the link to the YouTube or the video, and we can see this. So this was something which we did. And if so this is how it comes. And then if the trainer has to assess, so there was a separate assessment for the trainer also. Separate login was given where the trainer would see the video and give his assessment, his or her assessment, and would give. So this would go back to the fellow or the PG for improvement. Then the last one which I worked was with PupilMate. That was a problem statement given by a DNB student, that was Dr. Ruhel. So he found out a small problem statement that there is no device to check and document a pupil reaction. So he came up with me, and that was when hackathon was coming. So we thought, let's put it in hackathon because we'll have engineers to help with us. And so we started finding a solution for this in the hackathon. So we made a box, simple VR virtual reality box with the cardboard in the glaucoma clinic, and we took calendars to make the separation between the nose, and make a pouch to keep the ESP32 cameras. And we had infrared LED bulbs, which was arranged. We took infrared from the old non-working cameras, CCTV cameras, and we had engineers help us with coding of the ESP32 cameras because it is Wi-Fi enabled, and all the connection was made. And then we and also the stimulus LED white bulbs was attached, and then we came up with the product. So this was the pupil mate, which would actually help us record our pupillary reaction. And this was one of the most frugal do-it-yourself device that we have made, and it wouldn't have been possible without our engineer friend, Mr. Aniket. And we had Miss Gargi Agarwal also, who helped us with the 3D printing of a box for the same thing. So you can see over here, if you see the pupil over here, you can see the way it was reacting, and this is exactly what we made in hackathon. So these were all the innovations that we made, and after that we tried for publication. So it got accepted in IGO. It came under the innovation section, all the innovations that we made, and which would help everybody in the whoever reads can actually replicate it for their own benefit. So this was my hackathon and my experience. This is a small video of our hackathon being conducted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that was a series of really great and inspiring innovations. Hereka, you have been very closely, you have worked very closely with Prithvi sir. So would you like to say something?
Yeah, so we have worked on a lot of innovations together, and probably he has been the motivation and the mentor who has really made me, who has shown me the world of innovation. And to be honest, we work. It starts in hackathon, but the entire product making goes on till the next hackathon, and it ends only when probably we couldn't patent a lot of products because it's not something that makes sense to patent. But till it reaches the publication part of it, we are always working on it and trying to crack the best possible, easiest way to really bring the product out for everybody to use. And Prithvi sir, for that matter, has really been behind the product and pushing all of us, all the DNBs and postgraduates, like to do something, to think about new problems, to not stop. Like every year, I mean, we think like what else, but there's always something that I think we really need to find solution to. So yeah, I'm really thankful to him for that.
Samir, if I may add one thing from Prithvi's journey, I was traveling very closely with him during the days of ASPE, IOL scope, and T3R, trash to treasure. So the brilliance of his innovation was hackathon. You may get these simple, frugal ideas. So he has a story of how a simple IOL. So he used 4 IOLs and then keeping it at a particular focal length, he was able to do a microscope. And with a single IOL at a particular focal length with a smartphone, he was able to do an ASPE. And these are frugal ideas, and he was able to bring those ideas into a real-time scenario, and the T3R as well. So at that point in time, he had an anterior segment imaging tool, he had a posterior segment imaging tool, of course, not with an IOL, but he had a 20 diopter lens. And then he also had with 4 IOLs a microscope, where in COVID we were closely working on a project where one of a very novel one, if at all ROCM was continuing, I think he would have marketed it in a very big scale, where even the identification of the mucormycosis was possible. When we both worked with the ENT surgeon in the OT live, we were able to pick up mucormycosis. So the idea of it is a simple idea, like an IOL, he was able to bring it. So you never know where the idea will get, and hackathons are just going to unearth more ideas from more of these brainstorming sessions, when you keep brainstorming and then just come out of it, and you'll never know how you get the idea. And some ideas will happen very quickly, but as Dr. John was telling, some ideas, if it's going to travel a long way, you may get busy with your clinics, but you need to keep finding time and then keep going.
Yeah, that's brilliant. If I may add, I've also been with Prithvi and Prasanna in Pondicherry with Dr. Venkatesh for a long time. And one thing, if you noticed, was the way he showed how the pupil make was done. So if you saw, he has salvaged parts from whatever possible. He went to the glaucoma clinic, tore up some cardboard to make the box, then went and got some security camera and removed the infrared LEDs from there. He got bits and pieces from so many devices and things which are thrown about. Like a true tinkerer. So that is what we should realize. To be an innovator, you don't really need a lot of, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You just need to have to think outside the box and figure out from where can I use something which is considered trash and make a treasure. So that is one of the constant recurring theme in many of Prithvi's innovations is frugal. Like you don't spend a lot of money, you get things from wherever you can, bring it together and make these things. And many of these frugal innovations, they don't really make sense to patent it, but it will benefit a lot of people. So if you can think of some frugal innovation which will benefit a lot of people, please do it, please make it, and please publish it so that many more people can benefit from it. There are innovations which are expensive to make. Those sort of innovations, maybe you should patent it and go the commercial route. But many other things, even if it's not going to be much of a difference to you, you can just publish it and let others know about it so that everybody can benefit. And this is also one more thing is when you go to a hackathon, you will realize that the language which the doctors speak and the engineers speak are not exactly the same. You need to actually have some sort of translation. So you speak to the engineers, they don't understand many of not just the medical jargon, they don't understand many of the things which are important to the doctors. And the engineers, when they speak, the doctors don't understand what is a simple problem and what is a complex problem. Because some things will be very simple from an engineering standpoint, and some things will be very complicated from an engineering standpoint. So you should have some sort of back and forth and understanding each other's language to understand. Thank you. Brilliant innovations from that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Dr. Prithvi, for sharing your experience with us. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Atul, who will be talking on problems to solutions.
Thank you, Samir. And thank you, YOSI, for having me here. I hope my screen is visible now. Can you see it now? Yeah, okay. So I'll be just taking you through the journey from problems to solution. And this journey would not have been possible if not for the Aravind Eye Care system and supported by the Aravind Center for Eye Care Innovation. So I'm just taking you through the 5-step approach. So the first step will be recognizing a problem. So once you recognize a problem, we have to understand the root cause. Then comes thinking about it and generating possible solutions. So once many solutions are obtained, or even one is obtained, you go on to testing it and refining it, then go on to implement and then scale it up. So many a times with innovators, what happen is they recognize a problem, generate a few solutions, and it stops at step 3. So I believe you have to go all the way to step 5 for it to be an actual solution, for it to reach in a real world scenario. So and another useful thing that I use myself and I have come across a few months ago is that the journey from problem to solution involves, first of all, the problem. Then you should have insight of the problem. Then you put in your creativity and you execute it in whatever way possible. Just like how my colleague was talking about now, Dr. Prithvi was telling how he was salvaging the parts and executing it. So then you find a solution. So this innovation equation can help us in understanding the journey from problem to solution better. So first of all is about recognizing a problem. So it can be recognizing a clinical gap. Maybe the existing treatment protocol is not enough for a particular disease, or it may be an inefficiency in the existing system, or it may be an unmet need in patient care. It may be due to the difficulty in accessibility, due to the geographical location, or a technological limitation. So any of these can come out as a problem. Many a times, once you are open to it, these problems come to you. You don't have to go to them, but always keep an open mind to it. So I'll be just explaining this with a problem, with an example. It's about retinal surgery intra-op visualization. So how was the intra-op visualization during retinal surgery developed? So the problem they faced was the intraoperative visualization during VR surgery can be compromised. It is due to the poor contrast between the retinal layers and leading to surgical challenges, especially when you are peeling the ILM and such. So the problem was identified, and then a need was identified, a better way to enhance the intraoperative visualization for improved surgical precision. So this was a problem, and now we have to understand the root cause. So what is understanding the root cause? It's analyzing the why the problem exists in the first place. Maybe there are barriers, maybe there are technical limitations, or maybe there is a logistical limitation in such that the treatment is available elsewhere, or it is expensive, or it is not accessible to the society or the healthcare personnel here, or the people, the society in this part of the world. Or it may even be a biological barrier. There may be interference with the penetration of a drug due to the ocular tissue, or such biological factors that can help or hinder the problem. So now back to our problem statement. So let's do a root cause analysis. So we know that human retina is having a very low contrast under standard illumination. And existing dyes and stains, it may be toxic or poorly visualized under the microscope. And the existing surgical microscope may not provide the optimal contrast differentiation for the retinal layers. So these are the root cause. So we identified the problem, that is basically to visualize the retina during the surgery, the layers. And the root cause was either it can be due to the illumination or the dye issue or the microscope itself. So what are how to generate possible solutions? So in this step, we apply our creativity. This is where the frugal part of our innovation comes into play. It can be just like how Dr. Prithvi was telling about salvaging the parts in the OPD. or it can be in research and technology. You can use interdisciplinary thinking. So you can use AI in diagnostics or even material science. You can do a coating for the lens that can maybe accentuate the way you see the retina. Or even it can be technology. How about you leverage 3D printing, AI, nanotechnology? So things like that. So the possible solutions for the same problem statement was how can we develop a new dye with enhanced safety and better contrast? Maybe what if we can modify the surgical microscope with augmented reality overlays, or even introduce a multi-wavelength lighting to improve the contrast? So these are the possible solutions. Now the next step is to test and refine them. So even if we have one solution, it is not perfect. We have to keep refining it. We have to test it. We have to do pilot studies. So and then we get real world user feedback, and then we improve it on it. So it's obviously learning from failures and iterating the innovation for better outcomes. So just as in that, so we can do an initial testing. We can test new dyes, the prototypes in animal models. The surgeons can evaluate the augmented reality overlays, and the design improvements can be based on the real world feedback. So once we do this initial testing, you will identify the challenges. So some of those such challenge identified was that some dyes may degrade under intraoperative light. The augmented reality overlays need to sync seamlessly. So there should not be any lag if you are using AR overlays. And the refinement was further introduced. Maybe the dye formula can be modified for better stability. Maybe there is an improved software hardware integration. So this is the step of testing and refining. Once it's refined, you go to the implementing and scaling up scale. So we bring this, what we have developed after testing and refining, into clinical practice and optimizing its impact over time. Just introducing it to clinics is not enough, or just developing is not enough. You have to optimize its impact over time, get more feedback, and basically a post-market surveillance kind of. So regarding the dye, in this implementation phase, we will have to go for regulatory approvals. Training programs will be needed for surgeons to train them for the AR overlays, and even can partner with industry leaders. You can even give your technology to them so that it can be distributed globally. And also scaling and optimization. You can have an AI-assisted enhancement, or even the same thing that you've developed can be used for different ophthalmic surgeries and post-market surveillance. So this is how the 5 steps of problems to solution the journey is. So a real-world example of anti-VEGF using the same 5-step approach. In the early 2000s, before the 2000s, the AMD and DME caused severe vision loss with limited treatment options at that time. The traditional laser photocoagulation was used, but it had limited efficacy and was damaging to the retina. So that was a problem. So the root cause was identified as VEGF. Research found the VEGF molecule. And now the challenge was to safely inhibit the VEGF molecule without damaging the retinal tissue. So further research was done, biotech advancements made the development of anti-VEGF molecules. So once these molecules were developed, the further next step was testing and refining them. Initial trials established the efficacy, the drug delivery and dosing needed optimization. So these were further refined. And many trials and protocols such as Marina, Anchor, DRCR protocols all were tested to see how effective the anti-VEGF is and how to adjust their doses. Once the testing and refining was complete and the trials proved its efficacy, it was implemented and anti-VEGF became the gold standard for AMD, DME, RVO, CME. Even now, further innovations are going. Longer acting formulations such as faricimab and sustained delivery implants are also being developed. And some are already FDA approved. So I'll just go through some of my innovations, some award winning, just 2 of them because short of time. So this was one of the innovation called Blue Patch, Blue Light Unit. It was actually for revolutionizing the point of care diagnostic of corneal diseases. So the problems we faced with was the fluorescein staining, which is needed for corneal pathology diagnosis, can be only seen with a cobalt blue illumination, which is limited to slit lamps. And portable slit lamps are expensive and not accessible at all to many. And no portable or affordable smartphone compatible alternative existed at the time. So understanding the root cause was the next. So why the slit lamps are always clinic dependent. It may be inaccessible in emergency rooms, in the ICUs, in remote areas, and in for pediatric cases or in ICUs when the patient is bedridden. And we all know that smartphones lack a built-in cobalt blue light, which can prevent the effective fluorescein visualization. So now the next step was to generate possible solution. So a blue clip or a blue clip-on filter was designed, converting the flashlight of the smartphone into cobalt blue illumination, ensuring lightweight, cost-effective, and universal compatibility. Now the further testing and refining had to be done. It was tested across iCams, ICUs, and even in pediatric cases for the image clarity and usability. The design was further enhanced, and the fluorescein intensity of various phones were tested, and the attachment stability was also done. So this is a new version that is shown with the blue filter being applied on the smartphone flashlight, and it has a sticky two-side tape on one end, which is reusable. And after staining the patient's eye with fluorescein stain and dimming the light, you can capture a perfect fluorescein stained image of the patient's cornea. So once the testing and refining was done, the next step was to further implement and scale it. So it was adopted in teleophthalmology for remote diagnosis and medical training. You can see a sister in our vision center at Nattam performing cobalt blue light photography. The same innovation was published in IGMR and IGO, and recently it received a SEVA funding grant to implement it in vision centers across the Arvind Eye Care system. The next innovation we worked on recently, and this came up during the hackathon, is a lens attachment guard. It is a novel protection system for the lenses used in ophthalmology. So as we know, we use contact lenses for delivering laser for pan-retinal photocoagulation on the retina. During routine handling and especially in a high-paced clinical setting, there can be accidental falls and breakage. And there was no efficient specialized protective solution available at the time. And this was a problem that we faced, and this problem statement came up during the hackathon conducted by the Arvind Center for Eye Care Innovation. So once the problem was identified, the root cause analysis was done. So it could be due to the accidental slippage of laser lenses during laser procedures. It can slip from either the doctor's hand because we use viscoelastics, or it can be due to a patient factor. When the patient is uncooperative, they can just take away their head immediately, or involuntary movements. So the generating possible solutions. So the possible solutions we thought about, and then a 3D printed protective guard was tailored. It was a lightweight, ergonomic, and easy to use model, and the mounting mechanism to mount this lens guard onto the slit lamp was also developed. So you can see various versions of the lens guard, and we made it in different interesting appearances for visual appeal. And this was the first prototype that was developed maybe around 1.5 to 2 years ago. And we tested it on a Pascal laser slit lamp. So, and once it was refined, we have now introduced it successfully into our laser clinic. And you can see in the first image that the lens is being fitted into the lens guard. Visco can be applied, and then the laser can be developed into the delivered into the patient's eyes. So further refinements and potential commercial production is still in works, and we are planning to introduce the same for protecting other lenses as well. So just to reiterate on my topic, the journey from problems to solution, it's problem, recognizing the problem, then understanding the root cause, then generating possible solutions, and then testing and refining those solutions, and finally implementing and scaling them. I thank Arvind Eye Care System and the ACI for making the innovative gears in me work around. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an excellent overview from problems to a solution which is implementable and scalable. Just like briefly, I'll just share something before we move on to the next speaker, as we are short on time. So Atul sir, he is the sole reason why people in Arvind Eye Hospital Madurai are so involved in innovations. He has been constantly encouraging, guiding so many people, including me. The reason I attended the fourth hackathon, and I was a part of the standing slit lamp team. And the reasons why I went was him and his encouragement. And since then, it has been a great journey, and so is for so many other people. His work, his innovations are definitely an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for your time and talk, Dr. Atul sir. With this, we'll move on to the next speaker. I would like to invite Dr. Satya ma'am to talk on working with engineers. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Samir, and thank you, YOSI, for this opportunity. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. Can you enter in slide? Yeah, it's great, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about working with engineers, and to me, that's a whole new learning. Just working with, I think being in the hackathon has been a whole thing. And like everyone has been talking, it starts with looking at problem statements, thinking of different solutions, and then coming up with an innovation. But let me tell you that coming up with this problem statement is not an easy task at all. So my first hackathon really broadened my thinking. So just want to share my first hackathon experience was in 2022, and being a pediatric ophthalmologist, one of the things that after breaking my head a long time, then I thought, okay, this is something we have difficulty with. When we have to hold more than 50 diopter, we need to hold prisms in both eyes or stack prisms. It's very difficult to do. So during the hackathon, the simple thing of taking a Dettol bottle, breaking it, and then we realized we create something like this to put the prisms, this would work. And this was a hackathon right after COVID. So we didn't have many students with us, and the student on our team was virtually connected somewhere else. And then he did this 3D model for whatever we had shown with the Dettol bottle. And this is the first time I'm seeing a 3D machine. And this was like such an eye opener for me that in that 24 hours, we could actually come up with a solution. So you can see that this thing was 3D printed in that short time. And he kept on showing diagrams, and I was not at all convinced that it would work. So I was very thrilled that this could hold both a 4 prism, it could hold a 50 prism diopter, and it could stack prism. So we were able to come up with a base type in that thing, and after that he created a full diagram and we 3D printed it for that. So we called this the squintometer, and this was in 2022. So to me, this whole idea of a 3D printing machine was a big eye opener for me, and this was not even having the engineering student in person there. In the second hackathon, we created something to practice on syringing. So right now we have doctors and paramedical staff directly would do it on patients. So the fact that you could create a 3D mold, use silicone gel and create something, and we tried again different things to come up with it, but that you could do it in that short time was something amazing. I had no idea that you could use silicone mold and then you could make it firmer. You had different types of silicone that you could use. So that was a big learning for me. In 2023, what we worked on was again looking at squint evaluation in different cases. And the student we were working with was a computer engineering student. So he was a little disappointed to have a mechanical problem, but it was very interesting. One, being with these young-minded people working late in the night. And then suddenly he would say like, okay, let's go try this. Like the others had mentioned, sometimes we do have a communication problem. We don't understand that what they're talking and whether they've actually understood our ideas. But every time they come up with the brilliant solutions. And so this was using condemned slit lamp head, a tripod stand out of a thing, and then from a C3 arm, again a discarded arm. Just the idea that you could take all of this, put it together, and then come up this one and that thing. And the next one is an innovation that we made for Brock string therapy. So Brock string therapy, as you all know, is a very boring exercise, but cannot be translated to a virtual exercise because it requires physiological diplopia. So the idea was, can we just create an app so that it will guide a patient while doing the exercise? Again, I did not know that you could create an app in such a short time. So over a 2-day weekend, you would actually create an app. So for me, one of the main lessons was it is amazing what you can achieve in 24 hours when we put our minds together. So the first hackathon to me was this thing that, the limitation is in our mind. And after that hackathon, I feel I have broadened my thinking. And I have been able to recognize many more problem statements locally. And another thing is we've been able to recognize existing solutions. So some people have been coming up with things we not even realized that This is something that a paramedical staff or a junior doctor has come up with. So I would say, I don't know if it is me, but I think that as doctors down the line, we tend to become narrow-minded. But working with this young team and working with these engineering students, most of who would be just 18, 20, and it really broadens, worked for me to broaden my thinking. So I've made it a point to send always the first year postgraduates in the beginning of their thing, because they actually look at things as problem statements. So we have become used to it over the years that we realize that we don't even realize that we've become adjusted to it. So I think it's important that the journey starts very early. And also, if you look at it, some of the ideas really catch on. So this one is a torchlight that we have. And you can see that the torchlight usually distracts the patients. So we need a little, we're not going to cooperate on slit lamp. So we're going to use bright torchlights here. And you can see just adding this little picture makes this child so cooperative. And you can do a very good evaluation on that. This other innovation is by Dr. YOSI on just using magnets during slit lamp evaluation. Small things and very, very big difference they make. So now these are things we routinely use in our pediatric clinic. But all of the other ones that I'd shown earlier on, they are all great solutions. They've all won awards. They've all at least 1, 2, 3 awards in different conferences, but not very popular and not caught on for the simple fact that they're not very simple. They're not very easy. And like Dr. Atul said, we have to go through that entire journey. So what I want to say is it is very important that we look for partners beyond the hackathon. And for us, being at Tirupati, we were able to collaborate with IIT Tirupati. And it was interesting when we went there and we just said that, they had announced that we have this team, and it was nice to have students who were interested who just came up for this. So we presented various problem statements. We showed them what we've done in hackathon, what we want to take forward, and what we had as different other problems that we had. We were able to interest them, and some of them have started joining hackathon. And like Dr. Venkatesh said, after the first hackathon, you can see that there is much more demand for it. They have a better understanding, and it's a win-win here. So after this, we also had the faculty come over. So like Dr. Venkatesh said, there is this thing that they are looking for problem statements. So it's our duty to recognize these problem statements. And these faculty came and they presented all that they were doing to say that if you have any ideas along these, we can work together. We can collaborate on that. So after this, we had 2 students intern from IIT Tirupati and do their internship at Madurai at the IT wing. 1 student has been interning at Oro Lab. And we're working on this prism holder prototype to take it to the next level. So this student has not been to any hackathon earlier, but just from the visit that we had gone to at IIT, he came to the hospital, he just observed around and then came up to me randomly himself and said, I've tried this, can we try to work and modify this? So it's very nice if you find such students, and there are many out there. So this student who has been, Kritik, who has been visiting with us, so this was another innovation that we had done. So I won't call it an innovation. Basically, we just used this watch that kids have. It's called a projector watch, and you have it in Spider-Man, in Barbie, Angry Birds, all different things that kids like. And we realized it was very nice to use it when we wanted to examine children in a dark room. So we would have one of the paramedical staff hold it up and the child would look up. But then we again had to depend on a person. So then we came up with this thing of using one of these table lamps. We stuck it on the wall, and then it was, we thought it was a brilliant solution. But what we realized is we again needed someone to hold it down. So this innovation was put up in the pediatric clinic, but we were not using it routinely for the fact that it's difficult to. And this student who was working on the prism holder, he said, can I try doing something? And he took it back and he did a simple thing of adding a switch to it. And once the switch is put, now we don't need anyone to do. And this is a very simple, I don't know if you would call it an innovation, but modification of a projector watch that is there. And this makes such a huge difference, both for us to get the child to fix, and the child is also comfortable in a dark room. So what I have learned is hackathons help you conceptualize your idea, but your journey with engineers is much longer. So we need to have that partnership to take it further. So I want to say it's good to have local partnership. And I want the message to be that don't let go of any idea that others may say is crazy. For me, this has happened working with a lot of, in the hackathon, being with engineers and being with a lot of the young doctors, that sometimes we have this idea in our mind and we think maybe it's already done, maybe it's too crazy, but then just hackathon allows you to just put it all there. There is nothing weird, there is nothing different about it. And again, with engineering students, you get look at it from a whole different perspective. Be willing to try something new. And to answer the question of searching problem statements, it comes back to basically what troubles you. And one example I say is, think of what you go to the coffee shop and then complain to all of your postgraduates with. What do you go and complain to all other people? So that is where you will take your problem statement from. Thank you, Samir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for really nice and cute innovations. And I do feel like, what you said about getting a new perspective from different people. I feel like we are being in the same field for such a long time. We usually become narrow-minded. We have a tunnel vision, and obviously working with new people give us new, fresh ideas and prospects. And with that said, we have a excellent engineer here with us who will be our next speaker. So I would like to invite Mr. Sandel, who will be sharing his innovation journey beyond the hackathons.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Samir, for the kind introduction, for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh, for providing this platform, and thank you, YOSI. So I'll share my journey about how I got in the Arvind ecosystem and eye care space, and it was completely by chance. So I don't have anyone in my entire family, I mean, even extended family, apart from my bhua, who's in eye care, or even who is in medical care. So I am Sandal Kotawala, founder and CEO at Alpha Lias. So we are a startup based at Hyderabad, IIT Hyderabad, and we work on innovative eye care solutions. And my journey actually started back in 2015 when I was a student at VIT University Vellore, and there was a mail from Dr. Venkatesh that there are some people coming from MIT Media Lab, and they are going to give this talk at Arvind. So MIT for engineers, is the mecca of engineering, and I was pretty excited about this whole thing. So I applied for this, and fortunately I got selected. Going there, I realized that only I applied because exams were going on, and not many people applied for this. And that's when I first visited Arvind, and it felt more like an ashram than a hospital. You don't have that typical hospital smell in Arvind, though that phenyl smell. You don't, you have lush green gardens, you have these corridors filled with sunlight, and also it didn't feel like a hospital to me. I mean, I never imagined there would be a hospital like that, and it felt too good. And that's when Dr. Venkatesh mentioned about this problem statement, where how do we record eye surgeries, and in a cost-effective method, because there were expensive cameras. So we use something called Raspberry Pi. So today, after 3 or 4 hackathons, I think it's a very common or known word among most of you, that Raspberry Pi, okay, it's there. What's new in that? But that time it was not very well known in the doctor community, at least. So we simply used a Raspberry Pi and a camera, mounted on a microscope, recorded a few surgery, and felt good. We felt good. We tried some iterations. We developed few things, and that's when I started spending my holidays at Arvind. So I'll come over from VIT to Pondicherry on weekends and in summer holidays, and go around with Dr. Venkatesh. In fact, demonstrate this product at some of the CMEs which were happening at Arvind. And during one of those time, I was seeing this flare, and being myope, I was suspected of glaucoma. And that's when I had to undergo the visual field test. So you typically have this big equipment, they patch one of your eye, and you rest your chin and do this test. And it was pretty difficult, or I'll say boring, plus I didn't find it easy. And then I had to repeat the test because it was not reliable. So you look in center, all these dots blink around, and you're supposed to click. Right. So I just thought, why can't we do this in a VR headset? And yeah, this was just an idea. So we took a 500 rupee VR headset. We put one mobile inside that VR headset, and we just took it out. And thanks to institutions like Arvind, which provide a platform to an outsider to really come and try out things, without any background. So that's when what Dr. John was also saying, that all these words were coming from doctor: inferior field, superior field, hemianopias and all. So I had to do the hard work of sitting in the library of Arvind and really understanding what these different concepts are. And we were testing out these at Arvind Vision Centers with sisters, and everyone was so helpful, and everyone was so helpful and giving feedback and all. And that's when we were doing multiple prototypes. So one of the prototype, you see, we were developing an eye tracking camera with a Raspberry Pi there, and below is an interface in a mobile phone where you can see a person's eye and how he's doing on a visual field. So this grew very frugally, and we were doing some 3D printed prototypes and all. And that's when Dr. Venkatesh introduced us to Dr. David Friedman from JHU, and one of his students came to Pondicherry to test this device. And apparently it was fine. It was not it was fine. It came out fine. The publication came out, and I realized maybe there is something serious about it, and I can pursue this as a venture. And that's when the first AIOC happened. So very interesting story. We didn't realize firstly what was All India Ophthalmic Conference. We have not been to any ophthalmic conference before that. So AIOC typically is very fancy one, and at large scale. So I didn't realize my bank account was roughly 30,000 rupee that time. In that you can't really get a trade stall, but thanks to Dr. Venkatesh, so he connected us with Aurolab, and in the Aurolab's stall we were able to place this equipment, peri screener, and there we demonstrated. And when we showcased it to about roughly 500 to 600 eye doctors, that gave a very good confidence that something like this can actually come out as a product, and there is a need for it. So as Dr. Atul also mentioned, sometimes we got to validate and iterate. So we realized no one is buying it because it's not a standard product, but there is a certain need, and there is a certain need for it. And visual field perimeter those days were not at all portable. You only had the standard devices. And that's when I incorporated this company in Feb of 2018. I was graduating from BIT. So I incorporated the company, started it as a startup. We were supported by multiple grants at BIT. And in fact, we won a grant in Switzerland with IIT Bombay. And we launched our first commercial product, C3FA. And again, Dr. Venkatesh invited us to one of this conference in Bangalore. I remember Narayana Netralaya was organizing this conference, and that's when then we went to TNOI. We showed to multiple people. So in Puduview 2018, we found our first customer. And I honestly, I was skeptical, right? I mean, after he paid the amount, I didn't utilize that amount. I kept that amount in the bank. I was not sure if he's gonna really return it or keep it, but fortunately, till today, he is using an Dr. Balaji, very supportive, proud customer. And then we worked with Remedio. So Dr. Venkatesh again connected me to Anand Sivaraman from Remedio, and we did a complete rehaul of the device. We did it with ISO 13485 certification. We got a FDA 510K exempt for the product, and we did as per industry standards. And that's when again 2019 we went to AIOC, presented this product, and this time more than 15 to 18 units were sold during the conference. And this is the current product that most of you would have seen, IVA, supported by Department of Science and Technology. And so today there are 250 plus devices. Actually, we are in India, we are in Africa, we are in Nepal, a few devices in US and Europe. There are, some of our customers include Indian Army, pharma companies like Ajanta Pharma. We have done clinical publications in ARVO, AIOS, and overall this product is doing good. With so with this we have been able to reduce the cost of equipment at least by 5x, where typically Humphreys would cost somewhere around 25 to 30 lakhs. So at least 10x compared to a gold standard is what we have been able to do. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sandel. And I've heard your story before as well. And truly, it's very, very inspiring to see this. And I've used, I think C3FA is there in Madurai as well. And I have used it personally, and I found it to be very, very, feasible, very, very friendly to be, to use it actually, as compared to an HFA. Venkatesh sir, would you like to add anything to this?
Amazing journey. No, I think that journey started to think, made us think differently. Like why are engineers hunting problems? No, we have so many problems, like what Satya was saying. We have to get the engineers, and I think Sandal was a platform for that. Even though I was going to VIT a few times, because of MIT connection, I was going there. But he was the one who introduced me to the VIT hackathons by calling me as one of the judges. And that was a big eye opener. You saw that the Anna auditorium there, there were 200, 300 engineering students working at 2 a.m. I said, what are we doing? No, I mean, these guys are ready to solve our problems. And after that, few trips in US, I kept seeing Johns Hopkins engineers sitting in Wilmer Eye Institute and finding problems. Then only I realized we don't have a platform like that here. It's always very rare innovators come because they really take that interest to find solutions, and they need some support like this, an engineering support like this. And I mean, that all landed up starting the hackathon in 2020s during COVID time, and then it took a big shape. I mean, I just recollected when Satya said that you remember first two where people had to remotely do the 3D printing. They joined from their home in 2020 and 21 when COVID was there. But still, that collaborations started strengthening, where this time we had more than 200 applications, and we carefully selected 50 of them. We didn't want too many also. Last year there were too many, which again caused a little bit of confusions and things like that. So we carefully chose 50, and they were like one of the top of those 200 applications. So it brings a lot of interest into that engineering community also.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Our president, Devakant sir, is also there. Devakant sir. Sir,
Yeah, hi.
hi, sir. Would you like?
Thank you, sir. Yes, yes, yes. So I was very impressed by all the talks and especially collaborating with engineers. And I would since sir is also here, Venkatesh sir, so I want to ask him. So we see that a lot of YOs across India are very keen on giving time to new products, developing some new things, but they do not have the infrastructure, the ecosystem what Arvind has been able to develop. So can you suggest ways where new ophthalmologists, young ophthalmologists can be part of this? We understand that it will not be possible for a lot of them to actually come over to Arvind and spend time there. How they can do things remotely with the little amount of time they have, if they have some idea whether they can collaborate with Arvind and work on products.
It's a good question, but I'm not sure because we have not thought about it, but we are ready to support them in the meaning, if there are really good problems or they already have an idea, we would invite them, small teams, to even be a part of the hackathons and also find support for them. Like Remedio takes interest in some problems, or Alphalias is interested, or Oral Lab is interested. They can go on a journey with them, to patent the design or whatever. We can help in that way, because which we are already doing. We are in a platform for our own team. But gradually, we will be open up. We'll open the stage to others. But I believe it has to happen locally also. These things have to, because consistency or persistence in that is the key. Like many of these innovators kept saying again and again. Many of the times it stops from just being prototyped and presentation and awards and conferences. That it should not stop there. That's what innovators keep saying. And even if it is simple ideas, you have to look for the early adapters who are the key. It may be as subtle as the slit lamp which EUREYEKA did. But if you find those early adapters, they are the people who speak about those innovations to a larger forum, and then people adapt it. So simple things, we have to take it forward and see that the early adapters take it to the next level. Things which need support, now we need to see how. So that is where I think AOS also has come up with that startup. I think LBPI has collaborated to do that. Maybe in the future, Arvind also would collaborate with AOS or with YOSI. And then bring some of those young minds here and then give them that opportunity to take ideas like how we have been doing for our team. But it may happen, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Before we conclude, I would like to invite Dr. Prasanna sir to share something.
Thank you, Sameer. Venkatesh sir, another query from our side to you, sir. I hope the screen is visible, Sam.
Yes.
Sir, so we at Young Ophthalmologists, you have been supporting us from our Pondicherry days. So this is our annual conference, sir, which is happening exclusively for YOS. You name it, we have it all, sir. Be it paper, videos, case competitions, or even innovations as well, sir. So this is an exclusive one for young ophthalmologists. We have all been mentored by you. I can also say I'm part of an alumni under you, and all of them are being mentored by you in some aspect. But definitely do send your young ophthalmologist in large numbers for this event, sir. They have always been part of our events in small, such as in AOs, YOSI forums, in videos and papers and innovations. But this is the first time we are going international with 350 international faculties and delegates and 1,200 Indians of that. So do help us in spreading the word, at least in Arvind sector, sir, and a humble request to support us with the same initiative for the YOS exclusive conference, which has its innovative module as well, sir. That's all about it, sir.
Okay. So this is going to happen every year, or is it international?
Sir, every year with Indians, but it's an international event where we are targeting people globally as well, sir, under the leadership of Divakant, sir. Last year, we had our annual conference where we added to India with 6 international faculty who attended. This year, we are expecting more numbers, and we have started the work very early, sir, in Indian Habitat Center.
Okay.
And also for all the viewers watching this, do submit in large numbers and get in touch with any one of us or with Sameer to be a YOSI member, and lot of opportunities are available, and do support us in this as well, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Can you stop sharing, sir? Yeah, thank you. So we'll just before we end the webinar, we'll take our mandatory photo. So I request everyone to turn on their cameras and do the yo symbol. Prasanna sir, can you take the...
Yes. One more, Sam. 3, 2, 1. Right, done.
Thank you everyone, for all the speakers and the panelists for taking out time from their extremely busy schedule. It was truly a very, very inspiring webinar, and hopefully to a small extent, actually, we are also planning to conduct a hackathon during the YOSICon. So we'll definitely get in touch with Venkatesh sir, Satya ma'am, and everyone else for their valuable guidance. And we hope to do it in a proper manner, probably not as good as what Arvind does, but hopefully it would stand good. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you.